So in part one, we created the presentation and renamed it. Now let's start to edit. Now there's a couple things right here on this page that we can look at. One, we can change the title, and we can also change the picture. So I like how Keynote puts it right in front of you where it says double tap to edit. So let's just do that. Let's double tap to edit, and as soon as I do that, my keyboard comes up so I can begin typing. So let's call this Intro to Keynote. Alright, now that we've done that, if I want to close the keyboard, then I touch the lower right hand corner, and now you can see what I've edited. Now I can either double tap that subheading below it or get rid of it. Notice when I tap on it, I get several choices. So I think I will delete it at this point. Okay, now my picture. How do I get a picture in here? Let's look at that next. Alright, so let's fix or change or edit this picture. I'm going to actually bring in a different picture. So in the lower right hand corner, notice that little photo icon. By touching that, we now see the photos that I have access to. These are things that are on my camera roll, which is on my iPad. You will certainly see different pictures on your iPad. Now if you don't have any pictures on your iPad, then you'll have to go out and get some or take some pictures. Okay, so let's look through pictures here and figure out what it is that I want to add. Alright, I'm going to go down and pick one out of this camping area. And I'm going to pick this nice picture here, and I'm going to select it by tapping it. And when I select it, it takes a moment to think, and then notice it puts it right in there. Now, I may want to adjust this and move this picture around and change the mask. So let's look at how we can change what I just brought in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust or show you how you can adjust the mask, they call this. So when I tap on this, double tap, that's twice, let's tap tap, it brings up this mask. Now what you can see here is that it did cut off some of my picture. Or let's say I wanted to zoom in more on the leaves, or if I wanted to zoom in more on the fence post there. So I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to just scroll right or left. And notice you can still see what the real picture of the whole picture is. It's outside of my dots there, outside of the selected area. And then let's say maybe I wanted it more like this. So I'm taking my finger and I'm just pushing the picture over to get it in just the right area and just the right place that I want. And then when I'm done, I just touch the word mask. And now I've adjusted the picture. So what if I didn't want this picture in the middle? How can I move the whole picture? Well, you just put your finger on that picture and just slide it to the area that you want. Okay? Or you know what? If I didn't like what I just did, there's always the undo option. So up in the upper left-hand corner, you can always tap undo. And then it puts it right back to where it was in this case. Undo is your friend. Now I want to continue to edit this picture and add some items to it. So with it selected, I tap on it. Okay? And by tapping on it, it brings up the dots all around the picture. And I'm going to go to the upper right hand corner and I'm going to tap that paintbrush. See that paintbrush up there? Now when I tap on that, you see several things here. Pretty self-explanatory right away. I can tap on any of those different styles, and I happen to like that one in the lower right hand, so I'll tap on that. And then it changes it and it puts a little border around it, and then it looks like it's, you know, folding a little bit and there's some shadows. I really like that. But also notice below there where it says Style Options. Alright, I can change these items as well. Okay, I can turn that border on or off. I can increase the scale or decrease it. I can also change the lines. I can put a dotted line or a dash and so on. Something worth noting here. Take your finger and scroll up. There are things below what you see, and you'll learn that very quickly, that there's always more on an iPad to what the eye can see. So you have to get used to scrolling and looking below. Often I've seen people where they just think that this is it right here, and this is all I can do. They didn't know that you can scroll down and choose other things. Okay? So just remember that. Now, let's tap on Effects. It's right at the top there next to Border. Let's look at some effects. I can turn on or off the shadow just by tapping it. And you can see on your picture that it does. Now, notice also when I turn the shadow on, it changes my choices as well. So based on what you tap will give you more choices. I can turn a reflection on, and notice over there right next to or right below where it says Intro to Keynote, you can see a little reflection there. I can adjust the size of the reflection, and I can adjust the opacity of the reflection and things like that. Okay, I'm going to shut that off. I'm not going to put a reflection in. So now that arrow right above the word shadow takes me back. And then we can look at arrange later. But arrange, you know, if you get into this, you might have several pictures and you can send one to the back and send one to the front, and we'll do that in a little bit. So I'm just going to tap back on my slide, and now you can see that I've put that border around it. It has that nice little shadow. I really like that a lot better. I've changed the picture. Now I have my first slide. That's it for part 2. We'll continue to get into Keynote and add more and more items in part 3.